Okay, here we go. Did it look cool? Look at that. Oh my word, I'm so excited for this. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Me and Josh is behind the camera there. We're gonna go over in the living room, get cozy, and do a little Q&A for you guys. What face is that? What face is that? It is Sunday afternoon, and we just got back from church, so we're gonna cozy up on the couch and answer a whole bunch of you guys' questions. I've been meaning to do a Q&A for a long time, it just hasn't happened. Hi, my name is Megan Fox, if you're new to my channel, and you're about to learn a lot about us right off the bat. I did want to say, the printables on the wall are now available on my website, so you can look for that all down in the description box. But let's go on the Q&A. Also, this video is sponsored by Harry's, but we'll talk about that later. I'm sitting here.
I'm sitting here.
Let's put the plant over here. Okay, so I think how we're gonna do this is he has the questions from YouTube and I have the questions from Instagram. And I'll just pick a question that I want to answer, and then while I'm answering, he can look and find something that he wants to answer, back and forth like that. And we'll try to be as honest as possible. I didn't really look through all of them or anything. I did notice that there was a lot of political questions, and I just did want to say that I feel like there's a time and a place for everything, and my channel is not the place where I want to get all political and everything, but I do want to use my platform as a place to promote family life and family values. Yeah, I hope I can like just lead by example, so I'll leave it at that. Okay, the first question I think I will answer says, you did a hairstyle video where we saw most of your hair. How does that align with you covering your hair? I debated about putting that video out for a long time, but I've gotten so many questions about people who genuinely wanted to know like the actual mechanics of putting your hair up and covering it, and so I prayed about it a bunch, and I talked to my mom and some other people, and I decided that I was gonna go for it, and I feel like we're all family here, and I don't plan on just like walking around in YouTube videos with my hair not combed. I don't really do that in real life anyway. I usually get up in the morning and comb my hair. It's just how I get things done. But yeah, I don't apologize for that video at all. I feel like it was well received, and a lot of you really expressed thanks that I did it. And yeah, I'm sorry if that offended anyone, but I feel like I did it in a pretty tasteful way without like flaunting my hair all around and stuff. And if you're curious what I'm talking about when I'm talking about covering my head, that is one little difference that us Mennonites have, and I did cover that in a different Q&A. Ha, cover that. Get it? Haha. Anyway, so, oh, I never introduced you. This is Josh. We've been married for 7 years. I'm older by 8 months.
Okay.
And he talks just as much as me, if not more, just not in front of a camera, so. This lady says, I'm pregnant with my first, so any pregnancy or newborn advice would be great. What would you say to a first-time mom, Josh?
I don't know. Never been a first-time mom. I would say prepare yourself to spend a lot more time at home than what you think. Right? I mean...
I disagree, but whatever.
Yeah, but I'm saying the first couple weeks, it's a lot of work.
Well, it all is
I guess that'd be more. That's more what I mean. I mean, it's a lot more work than what you might think. Like,
yeah.
Expect, like it's full-time job taking care of one that small. But I guess when they're sleeping and taking a nap, they sleep half the time.
Yeah, I would say if it's your first time being a mom, it might seem really hard in the moment, but now looking back with like two, like having just one that you only have to devote your attention to, that's actually pretty easy, but it doesn't feel easy in the moment. What I would say is adjust your thinking to have your baby fit into your life and not you try to fit your life into the baby's life, because babies are super adaptable. They sleep a lot at the beginning, and if they can get into like a rhythm and a routine that works with your normal life, that's going to be great for you and for them. And babies do like routine and rhythm. Eat, sleep, play. No.
There you go.
Eat, play, sleep, that type of thing.
See, I was never a mom. I would have never been able to give that answer.
But I'm not an expert mom either.
Well,
but yeah.
You got more experience than I do, obviously. So.
Yeah. And definitely voice your opinion, like voice if you need help. Don't try to do it alone. Tell your husband. And I feel like you were good at like being like, well, look, if you're like wiped out or tired, you know, why don't my mom come over? And like I was too like awkward to ask for help, I guess. Or I just felt bad asking for help.
Yeah,
and
don't be afraid to ask for help when you need it. Like.
And then return the favor someday when you know somebody, yeah, going through the same thing. Or the next generation when you're the grandma. Next one I will pick out. Wait, I picked out that one. Do you have one you want to do?
Can you talk a bit more about how you get your children to be calm? They seem to eat very well, and what discipline method do you use? I've similarly aged children. However, mine don't seem to as well behaved as yours, and I could use the advice. I mean, obviously the camera has an on and off switch, so
Yeah.
Our kids are definitely not perfect. There's no doubt about that. But I think for meals and stuff, we don't really give them an option to not be calm and sit there and eat their food. I mean,
yeah, I don't know if I have anything to add to that. I do think like my kids are better behaved than I thought they would be, but Evonnie just turned 3 and she's trying to push buttons and stuff. So I understand it's only going to get harder and there's going to only be more instances of like training. But something that I think helps is don't put a ton of pressure on your kids to eat all their food all the time. My goal is that they always taste it. You know, Evonnie does not like tomatoes, but she always has to eat one, and maybe someday she'll learn to like them, or maybe I'll make them a certain way that, oh, she likes them, you know, on cheeseburgers. You know, maybe she doesn't like them plain, but she likes them on a sandwich or something. You gotta have at least one bite, and we don't really push it super much further. If I know it's something they don't like, I will only give them a little bit so it doesn't overwhelm them. You know, that they have to eat all this, and then, you know, we just move on. We don't like belabor the issue or anything like that. I know there's so many different parenting methods. There's probably a lot of you that would disagree with that, but I've had pretty good success with them trying new things and, you know, just taking at least one bite and then finding out, oh, they like it after all. Do you wear makeup, and if so, what are your favorite products? I did include a little bit of that in that hair video that I did. Maybe I could do something more in depth sometime. I'm wearing my glasses today just because my hair was a glasses day hair, if that makes sense. Some days my hair just looks better if I put glasses with it. Anyway, but I can make another video about that sometime, like my different products, if that's something you would like. I do wear a little bit of makeup if I'm getting dressed up to go somewhere, or depending how my skin looks. In the wintertime, I feel like I wear more just so I don't look like dead. But at home, I don't really wear anything at all on my face. But this would be a great time to talk about a brand that we are working with for this video that I'm sure if you guys like Target as much as me, you have seen this brand before, and that is called Harry's. And I wanted to throw this into a video that Josh was in because he's the one that uses Harry's the most, but I mean, it's a guy's razor company, but I have gotten hooked on them as well because they just do the job right. So I was first introduced to Harry's as I was walking through the Target aisles. I'm sure you've seen them before, but if not, Harry's is a personal care brand that reinvents the way you shave or your husband. Josh loves Harry's razors, and I actually use them too. They work so well, why not? They actually make their blades in a German factory that's been making razor blades for over 100 years, so I think that's pretty cool. But Harry's just sent us a starter set that includes a weighted handle with a textured rubber grip, and then it has a 5-blade razor cartridge and foaming shave gel, and also a cover to protect the blade, you know, when you're traveling or camping or whatever and you don't want to worry about your kids, you know, getting in sharp objects. So if you, like me, are the person who is in charge of buying the household supplies for your home, go ahead and click that link down in my description box and you will get this starter kit for only $3. It is a great value. I know you'll love them. And if you're just hearing about Harry's for the first time, I'm super proud to be the one to introduce you to them. So check that out down below, and let's get back to the Q&A.
I have a question here. Have you and Josh ever considered a business venture together? I've always said that that wouldn't work.
And we just did start a business together. Right. I guess I'm the face of it. Fox Sparrow, I talked about that in about 2 or 3 videos ago.
And you're picking out all the items and the products, and you're doing the product.
I do all the creative side of things, but he's the books guy.
That's all my department, which...
We both have a business mind, just in different ways, and he's much more organized and like factual when it comes to numbers and stuff. I'm too creative with that, so he kind of does the book side of things.
You overthink it a bit.
Yeah, and anything like practical, like mailing and things like that. So we don't know. We just started. We'll see how we work together. It's obviously rough at the beginning, just learning things. Like he wants to just like, he's so optimistic, like, oh, this is gonna work out. Let's buy a laptop. Let's buy this printer and that label printer and blah blah blah. And I'm like, well, let's just wait and see if it's a hit or not.
You're
and then
setting yourself up to fail if you don't have the proper equipment.
No, it's just being realistic. No. He's optimistic. I'm realistic.
No. Well, I'm optimistic, yes, but I also know what it takes to run a business. And if you can't run it efficiently, it ain't worth running at all. So anyway, we do see things a little bit differently, which is why I've always said that I don't think business-wise we'd ever work together. But And here we are, we're doing it. We're gonna go ahead and give it a shot. We'll see what happens.
But I think actually if I could get something that worked for us, if you are finding yourself in partnership with a spouse in a business, is definitely like have a list for each of you, like whose domain is what. Like you can work together on those topics, but like I give input on shipping and things like that, but that's his baby, and if he drops the ball in that department, that's his problem, you know. And for me, like I'm the one that's on the creative end and the product development and stuff. That's my jurisdiction. He can put input in and stuff, but that's like my department.
That's fine.
If you're crossing over too much and you don't know you don't have defined roles, things get left behind and things, I don't know. So
And
just,
I have no desire to develop product. Like
yes, that's the other thing. Work with your strengths. Work with your strengths.
Right.
If one of you is like the people person, have them do like the promoting and things like that. Don't ignore your strengths.
Do you find it hard to dress modestly?
That's from Jar of Fireflies. She has a YouTube channel on here as well, and I think she is Jewish. If you want to check out another like family-based channel. I personally don't really find it that hard to dress modestly. I feel like I have a lot of good peer pressure in that area, and it's like what I'm used to. And modesty is such a relative term. I'm not the modesty police. I'm not going to tell you if you're modest or not. I'm sure there's people that think I'm not modest, people that think I'm extremely modest, whatever. It is definitely a subjective. I mean, if Jesus had like harsh lines, he would have said them, you know? It's definitely a heart posture probably first. I have been very immodest in a cape dress just with my, you know, attitude. Like if you're thinking about yourself and trying to look good and be the center of attention and like be gaudy and stuff, that's not a modest spirit at all. And that's something I'm really learning, like now that I'm a little bit older. It's not necessarily just about your clothes. Like two people can wear the exact same outfit and one can just like throw it on and like it's not all about how they look, and the next person can be like that's all they're focused on, like their appearance and stuff. But that being said, I do feel like appearance is really important, especially for first impressions. I feel like when people meet me for the first time, like all you have to go on when you meet a stranger in the grocery store is their looks. And I want when people to see me, I want them to look at me and like I want them to see that, I want them to think that I'm a capable person. Hopefully I look attractive and not like sloppy, messy, smelly or whatever. Yeah, and I think if you have that in mind, everything kind of falls in underneath that. I don't know. I should make a more in-depth video on that sometime, but I hesitate to do that because it's such an opinion in some ways. You know, modesty is a biblical principle, but the specific applications are really hard to dance around. So maybe that would be a topic for another time.
Mm-hmm. Another question here. Hey Megan, do you ever feel kind of exposed with everyone knowing so much about your personal life? I know this has been a struggle for me with YouTube, and that was from Delilah, is that Farrell?
Yeah, she has her own channel too. She does like modesty and stuff like that. She is part of a really big family. Anyway, I'll put any of the channels that I recognize down below for you guys to look into. You want to answer that at all? I know my opinion.
Well,
she asked if you
it's-
feel exposed, like not people knowing.
I think I feel probably a little more exposed than you would, not? I mean, you're used to it, I guess. But at the same time, we got nothing to hide.
It's 40 minutes a week,
Right.
max, you know,
Right.
that you guys are seeing, and I can turn, like you said, it has an on and off switch. That being said, I did want to address that. Like the camera does have an on and off switch, but I don't fabricate things. I just choose not to show my children in like a negative light because they're little, and while the money that we earn is going towards their education and stuff, so I feel like I don't need to always like be asking their permission necessarily yet. That's my responsibility as a parent, I believe. They can't give consent at that age, and I think that's fine. I just do want to be really respectful of what I show of them, you know. I think they will love to look back later and think, oh, like, look at, you know, when they're saying cute little things and stuff. But I try not to make my channel children-centric, you know, about the kids. They're just kind of like little, sprinkles in the cake of my videos. But yeah, I have to say, I lay in bed sometimes and worry. Like, yeah. I don't know. I just don't feel quite as safe as I did before I started YouTube, and yeah, I want to take some measures to feel a little bit safer, but at the same time, I feel like this is a real ministry and I don't want to give it up, and God will look out for us. Mm-hmm. Would we ever holiday to Australia? That must be somebody from Australia. Letitia? Probably not.
Yes.
I mean, I would love to, but I mean, I'm going to have to work really hard if I want to earn money for a trip to Australia. But yeah, if I could ever go on a trip, like an exotic trip, Australia would probably be at the top of the list. This one also says, do you ever see yourself leaving Lancaster, PA? I think we answered this question before. If I could pick another area to live in, like weather-wise and stuff, I mean, maybe a little further. No, I like the snow. I just wish, yeah. If I could pick anywhere to live, I would like commute. I would live here all year long, except maybe like 1 month out of this winter, I would move like to Florida or somewhere warmer. But we answered this question before. We wouldn't leave really because family is a super big part of our lives. And unless we felt God specifically calling us somewhere, I think we want to stay around our kids, grandparents. How many clothes does a child need? Please make a video. I am super minimalistic when it comes to clothes. My poor children have like not a ton of clothing. I wash pretty often. The way I sort laundry is I have my stuff with the kids' stuff. And so whenever that's a full load, then I do it. So it's like 2 or 3 times a week. And so they wear their clothes hard and for a short period of time until they get into the next size. So I could definitely make a video on that in the future, but I would be coming from a more minimalistic side when it comes to like wardrobe. Okay, we got this question a ton about if we want more babies, and absolutely, we would love to fill up our house with kids. So I guess only time will tell.
Here's a question that's directed to me. It says, Josh, how do you see your role as your children's father and Megan's husband? What guidelines do you follow and apply daily? Did you have a strong Christian male role model? Do you parent your son and daughter differently? I mean, I see myself as needing to create that role model figure for my children, but at the same time I need to lead and direct them. And this is something I need to work on. I can't just live life and not be around for them and include myself in their lives.
Somebody I saw ask here and here if we speak languages other than English. No. Dutch got lost, sadly, in our parents' generations. My mom spoke it, and my dad didn't. And your dad spoke it, and your mom didn't? Or how's that? Your parents both spoke it.
Yeah, they both speak it now.
But they didn't teach you?
No.
Grr.
No. Mom isn't quite as fluent as Dad would be. Dad would be a lot more fluent in it. But.
What is your favorite book of the Bible? I did want to say, if it's not clear, we are Christians. And today we had a really, really good sermon on evangelizing, and through my channel, I can like travel all over the world just by editing a video and posting it. And I just feel like I might have dropped the ball in some areas in my attempt to not be preachy. I still don't plan to be preachy and stuff, but I did want to take this opportunity in this Q&A just to point blank say, I'm a Christian and you can be a Christian too. God loves you already, whether you know of him or not. And I highly recommend that you go find a Bible or Google it on your phone. We all have phones, right? BibleGateway.com is what I usually use. Google John, the book of John. And there's 21 chapters in there, I believe. It's like the story of Jesus' life. And you will just feel him. It is a very interesting book of the Bible. It tells the whole story of Jesus' life, all kinds of miracles that he did. And in there, it tells you how you can become a Christian. I can't necessarily be with you in person and like shepherd you and everything, but the Bible is all you need. And it will show you. It is God's word. And I just pray that if you have been searching that you would, pick up the Bible. And I'm just recommending John, but if you have a different book of the Bible you'd like to read, go for it. And just see what you think. If you could pick, would you want to have another little girl or a little boy? I would take either, but I think a little girl would be awesome because Evonnie's 3. I don't want the gap to get like huge between her and her next her sibling. But if I don't have any more girls, then I just think me and Evonnie can be great friends, and yeah, that would be cool too. Are you allowed to have non-religious friends and bring them around your family?
You know, that's something we could probably do better at in our lives is bringing in people from outside of our Mennonite circles and communities and our friend circles.
You're allowed to, of course.
Right.
Obviously, I feel like friends can definitely lift you up or tear you down. So I would be very careful about who I would let in my like inner circle, so to speak. But yeah, I really actually enjoy. I've made friends on here just like through online that have helped me see things from different perspectives, even though we might not agree. At the end of the day, I still don't maybe agree with them. It helps me to see how other people look at me or my lifestyle. I don't know, and it's only bettered my life in a lot of ways, maybe more firm in what I believe maybe. and just show me maybe ways that I'm not always 100% accurate, you know. Is there a way I could help make products for you to sell in your company? Oh my goodness. Hey, listen, I'm always open to ideas. I have tons of ideas already and they take a lot of work to execute just even one idea. But if you have a suggestion, email me at megan@meganfoxunlocked.com and I would love to hear your ideas. I'm always into collaborations if it's gonna be something that I feel that I can be proud of and that people would want and that will make us both money. Right? That's the whole point. I mean, you have to have a business model.
Here's a question. What are your pet peeves with each other?
Wait, how long is this video gonna get? That could be a while.
Sure.
It's gonna be long because it's gonna take you forever to think of just one.
Yeah, it will. It actually will, because I don't ever think anything negative towards my wife.
Actually, my one pet peeve, okay, I have a couple, but like the one that comes to mind is like when you talk really loud on the phone, and I'm always just picturing the poor guy on the other end just like cringing. Like, I think you're used to like talking at construction sites loudly into the phone, and then you do it when you're at home.
When you talk to me on the phone, do you think I'm always yelling on the phone? I talk the same on the phone all the time.
Okay, fine. Okay, that one's shut down.
Debunk that.
I'll think of another one.
Yeah, I have pet peeves.
Actually, I don't even know them, so I'd like to hear. I can always better
I
my
can't
life.
think of any right
You
now.
know, however close you get to perfection, which I'm pretty close, there's always room for improvement.
Is there? My pet peeves.
I tell you what.
Besides the fact that I constantly am running out of work clothes, and I open my work clothes drawer and there's no work clothes there because you think you only have to wash my work clothes once a week.
That's a pet peeve.
That's
okay. I can work. Well, the only way I can work on that is if you buy more work clothes.
Fair.
Because I just wash it when the bin gets full. So
Right.
yeah, you probably need like 2 more sets and then we'd be good.
Probably. Yeah.
Look at that. We should have some more household management meetings.
Oh, I know another pet peeve. There is
one pet peeve.
I got one pet peeve, and this is a real one. This is a fact. The dishwasher is meant to be loaded in one certain way.
No, it's
with things in their designated spots, or they will not get clean. And no matter how many times in a row you put the dish in upside down,
I didn't grow up with a dishwasher.
it's not going to get clean. It doesn't matter how many times you send it through that thing.
I'm stubborn. If it doesn't come out clean.
If you take your time and stack that thing right, the dishes will come out clean.
I'm stubborn. If it doesn't come out clean the first time, I figure, well, let's give it another try. I'm very forgiving.
Yeah, no, it doesn't work that way. Anyway, that's really the only pet peeve I can think of.
I feel like, yeah, when you live with someone, no matter how much you love them, like, that's kind of usually like the friction points, just like how you, like, household habits and stuff. I don't know who spoke this to me. It was such a good point. We think that, okay, we marry somebody and we're always trying to learn who they are, right? You know, we'll figure them out one day. The longer we're married to them, we'll, you know, study them and learn their habits and things. And they were saying how you need to give your spouse permission to change. Like, we're dynamic people, we're changing, right? And so just when you think you might have figured them out, they might change. Like, there's so many things that our opinions or likes or dislikes have changed over the years as we're married. I really enjoy watching your videos. Thank you. Also, you are so uplifting. Thank you. Actually, today I was feeling a little down. And I thought, you know what? Filming a video would probably cheer me up a little bit. So thank you guys for being there for me too. I am not always happy all the time, but I feel like when I'm videoing and stuff, it boosts my mood. I love this one. Kennedy Hill says, Target or Walmart? That's tough because I love Walmart grocery pickup and it's better priced, but Target every time, I guess. I don't know. But I do like shopping locally too if I can. Are you going to do any cleaning videos soon? Your favorite cleaning tools, cloths, etc.? You know what? I've been thinking about it. I would like to do a cleaning video again. I've only ever filmed like 1 or 2. I'm not a cleaning channel, but I find that cleaning videos are a great way to like just chat with you guys in a voiceover about like household things. Are you yawning? He's yawning at the thought of a cleaning video. So if you ever do see a cleaning video pop up on my channel, know that it's going to be like a chatty, like we can like clean together type of thing, because those are the only cleaning videos I really watch. Ones where, you know, I feel like the person is chatting it up and making it interesting and we're like working together. So I will keep that in mind and maybe put it in the upcoming rotation.
How does your church support global missions? Do Mennonite churches support only Mennonite missionaries and missionary organizations, or is global missions a huge emphasis in your church? So our church is definitely, that's one of the reasons why we picked our church.
Picked our church. If you're not from Lancaster County, you may not understand that term. But in Lancaster County, there is a ton of different Christian churches, and then there's a ton of different like Mennonite Christian churches, and like they all apply things a little bit differently, look at it a little bit differently. If you are a Mennonite in the Mennonite culture, you can literally look at somebody and see how they're dressed and pick out sometimes not just the conference, but like the specific church they go to.
Oh yeah, definitely.
That's only something that those who are inside the Mennonite culture will understand. But anyway, you were saying missions.
But yes, our church is very mission oriented. In fact, we're having a meeting here at church, I think it's in about 4 weeks, that is solely to discuss missions opportunities, and a few people from our church that are involved in missions are going to be talking. But as far as supporting mission outside of the Mennonite community, there is quite a bit of that.
Yeah. I would just say, if you are like a giver and you like to give to like nonprofits and stuff, bless your heart, but check into them first. He got really mad at me one time. I saw like these starving kids and I just gave money and I didn't do any research on the, like, there was a Facebook ad that popped up, and I think it was fine, but there is a lot of missions, like you might send $10 and $9 of those dollars is paying for the shipping to get to there or whatever. You know, you have to be careful. Not every place is reputable, and not every place is using like their money wisely, their resources wisely. So we generally,
money can be going to the founders, and it can be really, some of those things can be.
You just want to know where your money's going when you're trying to give, and yeah, there's definitely.
So as a whole, we probably lean towards supporting our Mennonite missions that we know where our money's going, and
I think like across the board, most preachers will say like, give to your church, like your church first, and then look. And so you should do that too at your church. Also, if you stopped going to church over COVID, and now they're opening back up again, why not check it out again? Go back, see what it's like. Don't just get used to not meeting with other Christians. I think that's super important. Look at me preaching. At what age did you start covering your hair? I did at 15, even though I became a Christian sooner than that. I just didn't really understand the point of it before then. And yeah, I feel like that's the same way I'm gonna handle it with Evonnie. Like if she becomes a Christian, it will be the best day of my life, or one of the best days. But I'm not gonna like. It's just like if one of you guys would become a Christian, I wouldn't throw the head covering down your throat first thing and be like, okay, now you gotta cover your head. Like that's something that God will speak to you when you read the Bible.
Absolutely.
It's one of the fruits, I guess, or not fruits, like it's one of the after effects of becoming a Christian. And some people are Christians and never cover their head, and that's with them and God. You know what I'm saying? It's not like I look at somebody who doesn't practice the Bible exactly like I do and judge them for that at all.
Absolutely not.
It would be my desire for Evonnie to see the Bible through the same eyes that I do, because I think we have a lot of things right, but we are definitely not perfect. And I think sometimes our culture, our Mennonite culture, gets muddled with our Christian beliefs, and we sometimes have to make a distinction a little bit. Culture's not bad, but it's also not what saves you.
The tendency can be to put practice over doctrine. And that's where you can get everything wrong really quickly.
Yeah. And if you would like to read more about the head covering and stuff, that's in 1 Corinthians 11. There's so many different Christian viewpoints on what Paul is talking about there. Just do your research, do whatever you feel peace about, and move on. Yeah, that's what I did.
See where God leads you, absolutely.
And I was 15, like I said. And also it was super, like a lot easier for me just because, again, of peer pressure. Like I had lots of friends and family and stuff who did it, so it wasn't weird. So I totally get it. Some of you have texted me and said like, or DM'd me and said, I feel like I should do it, but it's so hard. Nobody else at my church does, or my family looks at me weird. And wow, I'm sure God will give you an extra blessing for doing it, because you're doing it out of like, you know, you have resistance there and stuff. I don't really have resistance, and it was a lot easier for me. It's not the same playing field or whatever. So I really admire those of you who do it, even though it's not common in your circles.
Josh, how do you see your role as your children's father and Megan's husband? What guidelines do you follow and apply daily? Did you have a strong Christian male role model, and do you parent your son and daughter differently? That's a good question. I mean, I it's kind of sobering to think that I'm the head here. One of the questions: do you have a strong Christian male role model? And I would say that probably my dad would definitely be the biggest one. And then of course there were others in the church there where I grew up that I definitely looked up to. Every day it's you get up and try to be a better father. And
Speaking of a better father.
You want me to go take care of him?
Well, I think he's just crying in his sleep. Do you have a bad dream? Okay, he's checking on Fletcher. How has being a mother changed your perspective in life about having children? I did my video where I explained my product line, Fox Sparrow. I talked about how before I got married, before we had children, I looked at motherhood as like a drudgery and like boring and like a waste of my talents and stuff. Like that's honestly what I thought. And then my mom texted me later. She's like, "Boy, I'm so sorry I made it look like such a bad job, like a bad thing." And I was like, that is not, like, I didn't get that from my mom at all. It was just my own like preconceived notion. And it might have been just like the world around me, like putting that influence on me, just to think that, yeah, I wouldn't enjoy being a mom because I'd have to stay. Like I had a lot of like misconceptions. Like my mom did stay home a lot because she was a homebody. She loved it. She worked on a farm, lived on a farm, and like that's her personality. My brother is the same way. They like to be at home. And so I think that was one thing that when I had children, I realized, you know what, children are pretty adaptable, and while they do like routine and stuff, they also like to be out and about, and you can go on walks with kids, and you can, you know, take them just about anywhere, especially when they're young. I highly encourage you. Like I have a friend, she just has one kid so far, and they've traveled all over the place with him. He's only 2 now, but life doesn't just have to stop once you have children. And I think motherhood just seems so good to me because of what low expectations I had of it going into it. And I know some people come into motherhood from the other end. They think that motherhood is going to fulfill them, and they're finally like have their purpose in life, and it's not what they expected in the other direction. So it is definitely a lot of expectations. It's super hard. You know, it is hard, and it's like you don't get a lot of praise and glory from it, but it's like there's no other job out there like it. You can't compare it to other careers or other jobs at all. And that is one message I want to like pound over and over and over again, that if you are a mother, it is worthwhile, and you can learn to like it, or you can improve your situation. And that's kind of how most of my video topics come to be. Like, how can we improve this lifestyle? And yeah, this is not just for mothers either. I think there's a lot of us in this tribe that are not moms. And yeah, we still can connect in that like heart level. Would you explain your new product line? I'd love to see more t-shirts created by you. I would love to make more. I have so many designs in my head. It's just, I'm trying to learn what's marketable, what you guys like. I don't want to dump a whole bunch of money into more apparel and then it's just sitting there on the shelves. So I'm trying to tread a little bit softly, I guess, just to learn what you guys like. How often do you walk or run in a week? I would say probably 5 days. I don't know. I try to do it every day. It doesn't always happen just because of our lifestyle and stuff. But if I don't, like after a while I get buggy and grouchy. And it's just a good thing to clear my mind. As a mom, I feel like I don't have a ton of time to be alone. I mean, yes, over nap time I'm alone, but I'm working. And so I feel like if I put my kids in the stroller and I go on a walk, I feel like I can kind of be alone with my thoughts because, I mean, my kids are usually really good in the stroller and I can be alone but still be with them. And some days we talk and chit chat together, and then some days I just am quiet and they're quiet and they eat their snacks. And yeah, it's definitely one of my absolute favorite hobbies for sure. Favorite season? You?
Fall. No, spring.
I was
Sorry,
gonna say.
spring is my favorite.
Did I change your opinion?
Oh, spring's my favorite.
He always said spring was his favorite,
Yeah.
and spring was always my least favorite
I don't know why I said fall. I don't know. I hate fall.
I love fall. I hate spring. Spring is like a season of change. Like when I was a little kid, it was always like the school year was ending and then it was going to be summertime, and I always loved school and I didn't want it to end. Yes, I was that kind of kid. And every like summertime, like especially when I was in high school and stuff, I'd be like, what am I going to do this summer and how am I going to spend my time? And like I would be reapplying for odd jobs and stuff, and I always just felt so unsettled in the spring. And in the fall, it's always when school was starting, it was like fresh beginnings and stuff. I've always loved fall. Fall is hands down the best. But I love summer and winter too, which is why I'd be hesitant to move. Although I do wish winter was, you know, maybe 60 days max, not 90.
Did you or Josh date anyone besides each other? No.
I love that question.
Nope.
That's a good question.
No, we did not. Nothing wrong if you date different people, but we decided, I guess we found the right ones the first time.
We made a whole video about that, drove you around and showed you all of our like spots where certain things happened in our lives. I can link that down below. But I forget what we were talking about. So tired.
I'm tired too.
Oh, let's finish this one up. Yeah, that's a good question. But no, both of us, like in the I was gonna talk about this in regards to this question. Some of you asked how dating works in the Mennonite world. We say the word dating, but it's actually probably better to say courting, because people don't just like go on a different date with a different person every weekend, and they're not just out there to date just to have a date, if you know what I'm saying. If somebody, usually, and we're so far removed from this now, we've been married 7 years, so maybe I'm off the beaten path. But what I see from my sisters and brothers, it hasn't changed much from when we were, you know, in the youth group and stuff. I would say as a Mennonite culture, when a guy asks a girl out, and it usually works that way, not that it's wrong to have it the other way, but usually the guy will ask the girl out and he has like intentions of getting to know her better so that possibly, you know, they could get married. Like it's somebody that he thinks would be like a life partner, you know what I'm saying? So we don't really date. It probably is more like courting, although almost like everybody I know, anyway, we did not have chaperones or anything like that. Now me and Josh were pretty young when we started dating, 17 and 18, so we kind of made a choice on our own to do more group dating. Like we didn't have dates on our own until I graduated, and even then we kept them pretty short. We're both pretty social creatures anyway, and so we had a lot of dating friends too, so we hung out with them a lot, and I think that was so good. Like I encourage that with like my children a lot. I've seen so many people, when they start dating, they literally fall off the face of the planet, and it's just those two people all together all the time, and they lose like their friends a little bit, and they lose track of them. And I definitely think you can learn a lot from your potential partner, like just seeing them interacting with, you know, their own friends, or like in their own element, or with their own hobbies, you know, doing things together. And that would be, if there's any of you younger girls watching and you're dating, definitely don't just be with yourselves all the time, doing your own thing. Yeah, I think there's a lot of value in like group dating and things like that. And even if you're full-fledged dating and engaged, there's nothing wrong with like having group dates and stuff. And I know that's hard depending what culture you're in, or if you're like all your friends, once they start dating, they're always by themselves. At least you can hang out with family and stuff,
Right.
you know. Too much time by yourselves, especially if you want to date for a while, you know, like we were too young to get married right away, it's not always a good thing. But that was a really good question.
Right.
But yes, I'm so glad I don't have any exes. It's really, really nice. I mean, of course you have these little like high school crushes and stuff like that, but nothing ever like became of any of them. And yeah, I think you learn kind of just like, I was glad that I went to a high school where it wasn't super segregated, so you could see like all types of personalities and stuff, and like you could see what rubs you the wrong way or what you really admire in somebody. Yeah, I feel like that's sometimes another issue. Some youth groups tend to be pretty segregated. And I think there's a good way to go about like guy-girl groups and stuff. Speaking of dating, let's end on one last question, and maybe me and Josh can plan this right in front of you guys. So, do you guys have a regular date night? And if so, what is your favorite type of date? It has been a while since we went on a real date. I think our last date was like just a movie night and put the kids to bed and ate nachos and cheese and watched, I think, half of a movie.
Right. Rarely do we get through a full movie.
Usually I'm the one that's like really tired and being like, can we put it away and watch the rest later? But that time it was you.
Yeah.
We have been working so hard together lately. It's not quality time, it's been like quantity time in the evenings, like trying to get stuff done. So we could use some quality time again for sure.
And favorite type of dates? I mean, I always like going out to eat somewhere. Like that's the highlight for me, is taking my wife to a restaurant. You not so much.
Well, we haven't done that in forever. I don't like to do it on a beautiful evening. Like there's so many other things we could be doing outdoors or whatever.
Right.
But yeah, now that it's hitting colder months again, I'm sure we'll go out to eat more. Well, it wasn't an option there for a while.
It's also true.
You know, but now we want to get out there again and support some local restaurants and stuff for sure. I just like the part about dressing up and going on a date. Like I look forward to that again. But yeah, we're not super creatures of habit when it comes to dates. We like to do random things. And if you are in the time of life where you just can't get a babysitter, you just can't do it, honestly, put your kids in the stroller and go on a walk. Now this might be harder if your kids aren't used to going on walks and strollers and stuff, but I mean, I try to keep it as a regular part of our routine, like I said earlier. So we have done that already too. Pop both kids in the stroller and go on a walk, and we can talk, and they're like with us, but they're out of the way. And sometimes that's like the best you can do. I don't know what we're gonna do when they're old enough to understand stuff. You know, Evonnie's just on that cusp. She's just turned 3, and so it's only gonna be a matter of time till we're gonna have to like watch what we talk about in front of them. Ugh, I dread that. Yeah. Early bedtimes. That will help. Then you can talk about stuff then. Oh man. Well, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this one. And yeah, I made it long because I love long Q&As. I hope you listened to this while you were getting something done. It's just nice to feel like you have somebody nearby. Also, check out that link down below for Harry's. And let me know if you guys like it. I will see you all in the next one. And Josh, maybe sometime in the near future. You know they want you to vlog more.
Me? Vlog?
Don't hold your breath on that one.
Yeah. Yeah.